My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines, and we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, the Bad, and the Hungy every week on the Voice of Wrestling Network.
Owning a boat comes with a number of perks, like being able to fling your favorite fishing rod around. And here's another perk. Geico's boat insurance covers your boat and your belongings. And with specialist support from agents that are as passionate about boating as you are, there's so much value that you'll want to high-five someone. But not while you're holding your fishing rod. That's a prized possession. So hold on tight with both hands and keep it covered through boat insurance. Get more with Geico.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel, joined by Damon McDonald. It is Tuesday the 18th of March 2025. This is episode 354. How do you do?
That's my favorite thing. How do you do? We're great. You know, we're doing fucking cartwheels and...
It's funny you should say that, because Esther just learned how to do cartwheels today.
Oh!
Now, admittedly, they're rubbish cartwheels.
Oh.
But she's very excited about it all the same.
Right.
So she's just going around the house doing cartwheels on the furniture in front of the roaring log fire, just in all sorts of horrendously dangerous places. And it did cast my mind back to the cartwheel death matches that we had, and neither of us had done a single cartwheel, obviously.
No.
But yeah, do you remember when what was it? The match
Goto.
was...
It was,
it's Goto against Taichi.
I think so, yeah.
And look where we are now. Who'd have thought?
You know, we got two guys where we were making up fucking bits because we at the thought of that being a good match, and then now look at us. Now we're like,
imagine if they ran that much now, Taichi versus Goto for the world title.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing. Look, I'm a firm believer, and a warm receiver that. If you make it there and they have confidence in you, like you can perform in ring if you get a shoulder tap, you know. Now there are people that struggle with certain elements, but I think on a certain basic level, if you're there for an extended period of time too, like you can go, like you can wrestle. But yeah, it is crazy. I don't think I could do a cartwheel. I had to practice one for a wrestling spot, and I practiced. I kid you not, Joel. I know, and you're thinking, what the fuck is he doing, needing to do a cartwheel in a pro wrestling match? But it wasn't quite a cartwheel. It was an attempt at a handspring elbow. But
I like this. Go on,
right?
Carry on.
Right. So this was talked about for a good couple weeks that I was asked to do this in this match, as kind of a rib, but kind of like, you know, can you do this? And I practiced every fucking day. I never did one before in my entire life. I didn't even understand, like, how am I going to get my hands to fucking hold? Like, I just, like, no way. Practice. And like, let's put it, by the end of the practice, there was like if you looked at it, you could set like it was definitely better than like an NXT or like you've seen some crappy hamstring handspring elbows in your lifetime, Bill. So it would be in that world, but not.
Well, it would be the kind of one like NXT style. Like if you were to do it and you were an attractive lady doing it in NXT, then people would be quote tweeting, would be like tweeting out pictures of videos of you doing it, saying, "Oh my god, look at the incredible athleticism! This is the best wrestling I've ever seen."
Yeah,
getting big boss baby vibes here.
Yep.
People who've not watched a whole lot of pro wrestling. I'm sure it looked fine.
It probably didn't. But my point being is that it was at that level. It never got off the ground. I never had to do it. I never had.
Is that a new challenge we need with the handspring challenge?
No, I don't think my fat ass could get over. I'll be honest with you. I don't think my arm. It's not the spring. It's the hand part where that I think would be because I would go over and my arms would literally just give out. Like my shoulders.
My arms would snap like twigs.
Exactly. It would just like pop out of my shoulders, both arms, supporting the massive weight that would be coming down. Now it probably wasn't the most elegant thing, but I try. I can remember vividly my girlfriend at the time and practice because she was just like, she was pretty gymnastic-y. And she was like, you just gotta do this and you'll feel, I'm like, I can't fucking, this is gonna be shit. So there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. That's cool.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. Muda now with his shitty knees and me now, it would that's what you're probably getting, right? That's what you're probably would wind up getting. Handspring elbow. But we can do a challenge of some kind, but probably not handspring would be good. How about a lie down and take a nap challenge? I'll take that.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I'd love a nap. Oh, Joel, I had some fucking naps this week. I had to go to that nonsense concert. It was.
Oh yeah, tell us about the concert.
J-Hope. It was from BTS. I always want to say Big Time Rush, but I know that's not right. I mean, the dude puts on a fucking hell of a show. I'll give him that. Music's not quite for me, but that's okay. The crowd was super nice. Again, that just those type of shows, you never expect any problems, and everybody's nice, and everybody's and the show was good. My wife had a blast; she loved it. She was with her peeps, and yeah. But Joel, it's not. I'll tell you what though, I've never been at a concert where the crowd energy was so up the entire time. Like these mostly young ladies. They want to shut the fuck up the entire show. Like they're screaming their heads off and chanting his name, and they have these fucking lights that they like. You bring it in, it looks like a fucking fleshlight. I'm going to be very clear. It really does. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And can I fuck it? And it's like a thing that like every one of these K-pop bands have. The light sync with the fucking music and all this shit. Yeah, it was an event, man. It was an event. But yeah, it was. I was dead tired the next day, so had to work. And I got home probably like around 2 a.m. Worked the next morning, and then the minute that thing fucking said, probably even earlier, Friday, I was like cheap at like 6:30 at night, and I slept all the way through. I was so fucking tired.
You are living my dream. I love that. I get angry with myself. Like when I find myself falling asleep, I'm like, no, I want to stay up a bit longer because it's that short window I have between my children going to sleep and me going to sleep. That's the only me time I have during the day. That's the only time I have where I'm not surrounded by children, and it's very precious to me. So I'm like trying to force myself to stay awake so I can watch a little bit of TV or watch a movie or play some computer games or something, and then I'm sort of drifting off at about 10 o'clock, and I'm like, no, my precious time.
I agree. I'm with you, and I don't have kids, but yes, I'm right there with where I get angry at the fact that I'm relaxing, and my body doesn't know like how to just relax and enjoy something. It just knows, oh, it's relax time. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I do get mad. I'm like, what the fuck? I finally have like 2 hours to myself, and I want to watch the show, or I want to play with my bass, or I want to fucking just jack off 2 times, and I'm falling asleep.
You want to watch this movie? Fuck you, sleeping time.
Right. It's like the credits, like the opening scene, don't even. I can't even make it past the. Right. Fucking. I can't even get it past a Young Lions match at this point. I'm like, whoa, show's over. Got to watch this one again. Like, I hate it so fucking much. Fucking hate it. I hate responsibilities anymore. I'm really tired of responsibilities. You know what I want to do? And I can't because it's in this day and age, it's impossible. I think I've shared this with you before. I just want to get rid of my phone. I think that would solve a lot of problems. If I just took my phone and threw it off the fucking side of a bridge. I'm sick of it. I hate people texting me. I hate it. Oh, God. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Very relatable.
Thank you. Yeah, but again, you're dealing with kids 24/7, and again, when I say 24/7, I mean like the school kids that you teach. Yeah.
I don't know why I did that. I don't know at what point I thought, you know what, I'd like to spend 90% of the rest of my life around children. I don't think I really thought it through.
I don't know. I think we better call the FBI. Is what I think.
It was a series of poor decisions that. Well, it was because I initially wanted to be a football journalist, and I did a newspaper journalism course. But as anyone who, well, you yourself, you know, working in the journalism industry, very difficult to get a football
and keep.
So,
yeah,
exactly. So I was working for like a year doing unpaid internships. And I was just like, oh, fuck, I can't do this anymore. I need some sort of income because I was doing these unpaid internships while also like signing on at the job centre at the same time to have, you know, a tiny pittance of money so I could, you know, buy food for myself and eke out an existence. And then I thought, no, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is not happening. So I ended up starting a course to teach English to speakers of other languages. So I was teaching English to adults. And then that led me to meeting my now wife, the mother of my dear children, Mali. And then we moved to Thailand, and the best job that I could find out there was teaching English in a private boys' secondary school. So that's how the jump went from teaching adults to teaching younger people. And then from that, I thought I would like to go back to the UK, get my proper teaching credentials. And the best option there was to do primary teaching, because if you do secondary, then if you're looking for a vacancy, you've got to wait for a vacancy for that particular subject. But if it's primary, you're teaching everything, so it doesn't matter. You can pick up a vacancy anywhere. So it was that series of decisions that have essentially ruined my life and made me not be able to enjoy any of my hobbies ever again. So yeah,
but
don't do what I did, folks.
But okay, but it's a lot better than, you know, you're molding young minds.
That's true. But then at the same time, it is extremely difficult to stay awake through 24 minutes of Shota Umino versus Shingo Takagi.
That's a good point.
And if I hadn't made those choices, I feel I might have done better with this. But yeah, that's my segue.
All right, let's do it. Let's talk pro wrestling, because there is plenty to talk about, and unfortunately, this show, like a lot of these shows, have very very limited shelf life. But it is what it is. What can we do? We have to get the news out. We have to speak to the masses.
Yes, and like you, probably, I was dreading doing this all day. Not because I don't enjoy talking to you or doing the podcast, but because I knew we'd have to talk about fucking Shota Umino for at least 25 minutes. That thought has just been hanging over me like a cloud the entire day.
Well, we talked about it. Let's start there. Let's get it over with. What do you say? Let's rip the Band-Aid right the fuck off. We all knew this was coming. We all felt it. Look. It's the honky tonk man. That's what I texted you. It's the honky tonk man.
I think you're probably the only person drawing the parallel between Honky Tonk Man and Shota Umino. I should have checked my expectations at the door, because I think that the rule that we came up with on the Discord is if the lighting in the venue is like hospital lighting, then you need to subtract 2 stars from what your expectations were going in. And this was, even with that said, the crowd at the Fukushima Big Palette were not really responding to what those guys were doing in the ring, were they?
No, they were not. And again, that is a plus and a minus of New Japan Pro Wrestling, in the sense of, if they have a direction, and it's very rare that they're going to exhaust everything they can, if they're committed to something, and they're committed. Now the question then comes, well, why are you committed to this particular person when the output is what you have? Because
Red Shoes.
Well, I mean,
he's
look,
Red Shoes' his son, and Red Shoes never made it as a wrestler, so he is living vicariously through his son, and that's why there is no escaping this push. Because if it was anyone else, then they could fail, and that would be fine. You know, some guys, they kick the tires, give them the push, doesn't work out, and they go back to the mid-card. But unfortunately, that's not happening here, and he is going to get pushed forever because of nepotism, maybe.
well, look, right now it does smell a lot like it, right? And again, we're not privy to, we don't have a hidden microphone in those conversations, but I think if we're just putting 2 and 2 together, it is the only thing that makes sense at this point. Now, do you think, and I know that right now it seems like an absolute zero chance, but do you think there's something that maybe even we're missing that they see, or do you really think it's 1,000%? It's Red Shoes boy. We got to take care of it and just pinch our nose and push through.
Oh, Christ! I mean, I don't know what it is they're seeing beyond that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look objectively, and anything that I find myself praising, I'm doing that. You have to squint to see it kind of analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm watching this match, which was, what was it? I mean, what would you call it? Like a 3.25 star special.
Yeah.
Parts of it were quite good. I thought he's got a nice lariat.
Okay. And
he was working quite snug, and that was all right. But then I'm thinking, is that it? Is that the best praise I can come up with for this New Japan Cup semi-final, especially compared to what Zack and Finlay did in the other semi-final?
Right.
And there's nothing there. What other possible reason could there be for thinking, yeah, this is the guy, especially when we've got others like Yota Tsuji and Gabe Kidd coming through, who are ticking all those boxes that you want to see in your next big star. But what am I missing here?
Yeah, I think that's the $1 million question. Like, what am I missing? And
he's just uncool. That's it. That's the problem. He's deeply uncool. I think for a wrestler to resonate and be successful, they've either got to be cool or be relatable in some way. Like, you know, you can sort of share in that struggle with them or whatever. You know, you guys like Goto, or they
genuine.
have to be a dickhead,
right?
And I think Shota Umino is a dickhead in real life, but he has been packaged and presented to us as cool, and he is not cool, and he's never going to be cool. He's a fucking nerd. And then I don't know if what is presented now is supposed to be the second option, the relatable option, where he's lost, you know, he's fucked up on the biggest stage of all. Wrestle Kingdom main event was bad for what it should have been. And then he's done the shave and the head thing, which is, you know, clearly coded as I'm going back to rock bottom. I'm going back to square one, like young lion adjacent. And that is just so, just such a clash with them pushing him all the way to a final.
Right.
And probably winning it. Like I was asking like other people in the Voices of Wrestling Slack what the the other records were for people who had lost the Wrestle Kingdom main event. How did they get on in the New Japan Cup? And there were some guys who had lost the Wrestle Kingdom main event and then gone on to go deep and reach the finals or even win the New Japan Cup. And that's been guys like Okada and Tanahashi.
Right.
So that sort of booking has been telling the story of, this is a guy who's, they've narrowly lost in the biggest match in the calendar year, but they cannot be stopped. They're coming back, like massive bounce back. They will not be denied. They are like surging dominant, like generational ace of the company. Not, I'm nothing now, so I'm going to shave my head. It's just so jarring what they're presenting and what is actually unfolding before our eyes. It's just the way that he's sort of half committed to the repackage. So you've got a shaved head.
Yeah.
Well, no, he shaved his head, Damon, and he's very serious now, and he's not coming out through the crowds. But he's still got the entrance music, and he's still got the silky chicken trousers on. And that's not to say that I think if he was suddenly to get different entrance music and different gear, that, he's good now, and this is good. But there's just the way they've kind of half-assed it is just really, really odd. And I just cannot see the vision here. Maybe there will be some big twist or turn or like narrative thing, like he will turn heel or he'll have his own stable or something, and I go, okay, now it all makes sense. Yeah, I should have seen it. It was brilliant. It's been perfectly executed, but I don't have that much faith in the vision. I don't have that much faith in the booking at the moment. It just looks like a guy who is lost, like a rabbit in the headlights. I said imposter syndrome in the Discord, but then people said, no, it's not imposter syndrome, because the whole thing of imposter syndrome is people who are actually good at their jobs who think that they're not. This is a guy who is singularly unqualified for the spot and the push that they are giving to at the moment. So I cannot make any sense of it, and I won't I refuse to try to make sense of it. There you go.
All right, I'm going to give it one last swing. All right, it's bottom of the ninth. 2 outs. I got to hit one to the fucking clouds. Here's my long shot. Let's cross our fingers, and maybe this might be interesting. Let me throw this one at you. He, again, we're not spoiling anything. If you listen to this, you fucking watch the shows, and if you didn't, stop, because I'm going to talk about things. Is there a chance that he joined like House of Torture and fucks over David Finlay?
Yeah, I think so, because the fact that he was not present during the whole Hontai chaos thing, I think that was significant.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he is not going to be in that sphere. I think he's either going to be what you said, or he's going to get his own faction. I'm just thinking about stuff like Youngblood potentially coming back. Oscar Leuber and Yuto Nakashima, they've just dropped the 2 sets of tag titles that they were holding in their respective European promotions. So there's a lot of speculation that maybe they're going to re-debut and something with Sanada, and there's going to be some kind of sort of heel-coded faction led by Shota Umino. So yes, I don't think none of this screams babyface, future babyface star to me.
Right. And I think sometimes, maybe it's just a change of scenery. Maybe he would be a really good heel as a guy who, just doesn't give a fuck, and he's going to join this shitty fucking faction and just cause nonsense and do all that stuff just to kind of get his legs under him a little bit. But then I sit there and I watch, and it's like, man, okay, well, what I'm asking for is, again, a new coat of paint, a change up, and now you can kind of let your hair down, pardon the pun, and be whatever you want to be. I put in air quotes, because you're in this wild card kind of fucking faction, right? And then I sit there and I watch these fucking matches, and I'm like, well, if we're giving him the leverage and the rope to do that there, why wouldn't we just let him do that now? And it's not like I feel like they would be like, okay, don't do certain things. Like if he doesn't have it now, and he didn't have it a month ago, and he didn't have it 2 months ago, What makes me think that, oh, okay, being in House of Torture is going to be the key to unlock this magical fucking guy? It's not.
No, yeah, I totally agree. And I will say that in recent years, they have used the New Japan Cup to drop breadcrumbs about wrestlers turning. They did that with Evil. If you remember, was it 2020 where he was starting to work more heelish and he was like attacking people with chairs and stuff, which then set up him joining the Bullet Club. And then they did the same with Sanada, where he rejected Lij and joined. Was it? Yeah, he joined just four guys or whatever they were at the time. So yeah, they've done this before, where wrestlers have exhibited strange and new behaviours during the early rounds of the New Japan Cup that has then paid off for some sort of narrative twist where there's been some kind of faction change. And it does seem like there's a big sort of faction realignment going on at the moment. There was some backstage stuff where I think it was Tanahashi invited the Just Four Guys people to join Hontai, and so there's a lot of shifting around going on. So it does feel like they are trying to create space for a new faction. And there's, as I said, stuff going on with Sanada, where he's getting side-eyed by members of the War Dogs. He's not quite fitting in there, and there's been a bit of disharmony there. So I like, actually, you said Wild Cards. That would be a really good name for a faction. So yeah, Shota Umino is going to be the leader of the Wild Cards faction.
Cards.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me if that's the direction they're going in. But again, them doing that wouldn't make me think, oh, okay, yeah, now suddenly Shota Umino is working and he's good now. Like it still feels very much honky tonk coded.
And again, the reason why I say honky tonk, man, is because nobody wanted him. Nobody was looking for him for a push. And the next thing you know, he's fucking pinning Ricky Steamboat. And you're like, what? The fuck? So, look, I think there's more story to be told. Telled? Did I just say telled? There's more story to be told. Hey, I heard you teach English, Joel. Maybe you can stop by and give me a class or two. I think there's more to be told, right? That said, I don't know if, again, I don't know if House of Torture is it the answer, but I think that, again, I try to remind myself that there probably is more to this story that we've yet to see and unpack. But it feels like New Japan had a golden opportunity to press reset, to do something different, to do something special, and him too. And it just it feels like it's a lost opportunity. I think that might even be more frustrating in the sense that, yes, we are waiting for this guy to connect. Yes, we are waiting for this guy to, if he's going to be a guy, to then be worthy of that be a guy spot. And once again, there's probably more to be told here, but I don't have any confidence. I don't have any confidence right now.
Yeah, I think there was a way they could have done it. Like, we were all excited about the head shaving thing, and they could have told that redemption story what the story they presented to us, which is, I've hit rock bottom. I need to start my way up from nothing and earn the trust of the fans back again. They could have done that in an organic way by having him go straight down to the bottom of the card. Maybe don't even enter the New Japan Cup. Start working the Young Lion openers. Go back to Black Trunks and let that simmer for a while,
right,
and have that as a long-term story where he could organically work his way back up.
No. 3 months after Wrestle Kingdom, we're
good. And he's steamrolling his way through to the New Japan Cup final. And the issue here is you very acutely aware of the invisible hand of the booker. And that's one of my least favourite things in wrestling, where it kind of shatters your suspension of disbelief in believing these sort of organic stories and independent motives of the wrestlers, and you can feel the pieces being moved on the table by the booker. Like, you can feel him being almost like metaphysically pushed. He is getting pushed, and we can see it. We can see the big hand pushing him forward, and it just lacks any kind of organic narrative structure, because it's just like, oh, here's nothing. Oh, look, he's in the final. I'm getting whiplash with how rapid that was.
Yeah. Yeah, it is amazing. Well, look, I think for all the wins that recently New Japan has had, I mean, you can't bat 1,000. You can't, get everything 100%. But again, layering all these different this is different than a guy just not having it, not getting over. And there have been lots of pro wrestlers that you could put that label on. I mean, Yoshihashi, maybe even Taichi to a certain degree, maybe even, there are people that have had moments in New Japan Pro Wrestling that they probably will want to forget. And they hit lows, and the fans aren't there, and it's just a mess. There have been. The problem is, again, when this happens, and the layers that you explained before, when it comes to, oh, whose is that? Oh, what kind of how has he felt about in the locker room? How was that going? All these little nuggets and tidbits that you're kind of left scratching your head, like, would anyone else get this type of opportunity consistently? And also, for all the things that you see in the ring and all the ways that he just does not connect with the fans in the building, right? All of that. They are some of the smartest pro wrestling fans on God's green earth. Now, again, Tokyo being a 10 out of 10, but, even like the smaller towns, you do have pockets of fans who know what the fuck is happening, right? They're not dumb. They see it in front of them. And they know it, and it's kind of that is embedded in a lot of the response that he's getting. Like, this clown doesn't deserve this fucking shit. And the reason why we talk about this so much is because if, I'll put it as an if, he wins New Japan Cup, then we can safely assume that he'll be challenging for it. Like, he's going to be in the mix, big time, in the mix, if he's not already. And it, as much as the good stuff happens, this is like, this is the, this is the good looking guy, but he has bad breath. This is really what it is. It's like there's a lot of.
Do you think now, like, they're sort of pot committed to the point at which they kind of have to have him win the cup and win the title, because he's lost in the Wrestle Kingdom main event, and for him then to get to the New Japan Cup finals and lose again doesn't really achieve anything for them, for him, does it? Do you think, like, he kind of almost has to win, or do you think they can do whatever the fuck it is they're intending to do by having him lose to David Finlay? Because I feel that he kind of has to win this now.
Yeah, I mean, if we're not overthinking it, yeah, I agree with you. I do. And I hate to say it, but it's like we were talking about it for like 2 weeks now, and it does seem like this guy is going to fucking win this thing. And there were plenty of options that they could have gone with, and obviously they didn't. And getting wins over guys that are, I think established, doesn't help in the cause if you're not looking forward to that. So I do. I think he does win. And again, maybe they have something up their sleeve. Maybe they're going to dazzle us with fucking magic and sleight of hand and hocus pocus. I hope so. We'll see. But New Japan is a rather direct path kind of promotion. And 9 times out of 10, there's really no need to overthink it. So we'll see. I mean, David Finlay, I think I would love to see win. I really would love to see David Finlay win. And I hate throwing around the term deserves it, but I feel like he does. He deserves that. We'll see. We'll see if deserves versus nepotism wins out. That should be the fucking on the marquee. That should be on the marquee. Deserves it versus nepotism.
I feel sort of more confident in Finlay's ability to drag Shota to an exciting and dynamic match. But
what's the ceiling?
With that being said, like Zack didn't manage to do it.
Right.
Shingo didn't manage to do it here.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm feeling kind of bullish about this. I think it could be a good match, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I think Shota is good. I just think the match could be good.
What's the ceiling?
And that's just more of it's the ceiling. Oh God.
4.
What in terms of stars?
Yeah. 4.
Oh,
Cartwheel deathmatch.
I don't know. I can't do stars anymore. My brain sort of refuses to process it anymore.
Are we talking good, great, or average, gentleman 3, whatever the fuck terminology you want? What's the ceiling? We're not seeing great, are we?
Okay, here's a problem that's popped into my head now. I was going to say it could be a potential, something that might crack your top 10 for match of the year come the end. But then that requires a level of emotional investment
and drugs.
Like they need to give a shit about Shota Umino in order to generate the kind of crowd heat that this match needs. And I've got a question here. Matt says Shota versus Finlay leaves us without a clear crowd favourite in the final. What are you expecting from the fan reaction? Does this feel like a rehabilitation for Shota, and is it working? So what direction do you think the crowd are going to go in this final?
I mean, to me, I feel like they got to try with David Finlay's not working fucking face, is he? I don't see that happening. So it's got to be Shota looking for the sympathy. So I see David Finlay working over Shota for the majority of the match. And babyface, come back and all that stuff. That's the problem, though, because he doesn't have that. And to me, there is no evidence that can support the fact that we're asking him to do that during the match. So that literally is going to fall on, not literally, I know you hate when I say that. It's going to fall on David Finlay to be the most dastardly fuck where you can't do anything but boo him and root for Shota to get the upset win. Because you're not going to get that from Shota. You know what I mean? He's not going to be able to pull that out of people in the crowd. He hasn't done it yet, and I don't have any confidence that he can. So Dave Finlay's going to have his fucking working pants on. This is not going to be a T-shirt event. That's for sure.
I think the only chance it's got is, when a match sort of hits that sweet spot where both guys are just going balls to the wall and you can tangibly feel that they're working so hard and that they're showing that fighting spirit, that it's less about babyface versus heel and it's more about these two guys are just killing each other in the ring for our entertainment. That's the only chance that they've got of getting the crowd inside.
Okay, and I'm with you.
I don't think sort of classic heel beating down babyface makes comeback match structure is going to work here.
Okay, and I'm with you. One, I don't have the confidence that, again, I think it's, I don't want to say easier, but I think there is doing that path and then doing some type of swerve at the end where, Shota does join a shitbag heel faction, kind of would be, oh, okay, we're with you. You're with, you fucked us. Now we hate you even more. That could work in their favor. My fear would be, Joel, is that to me, there is a very fine line between doing what you described and then doing AEW Spamorama match.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
There is a very delicate fine line between the two. And those that cannot balance that, fall into, are you kidding me? You were kicking out on a gigantic super pile driver from the top of a fucking scaffold. Okay. Or this is the greatest match this year. We'll see, man. I don't know. The problem is that I don't have confidence in either. And when I say I don't have confidence in it, I'm saying I don't have confidence in everything but David Finlay. Because I have confidence in him. I don't know. It's going to be a tough fucking sled, man. Because the names that you rattled off, I feel like I could put you in the ring, Joel, and we'd have a great match. You know what I mean? You just have to get out of the fucking way. I don't know, man.
Can I just ask you specifically about this Shota versus Shingo match? Is there anything in that match that you think was standout or noteworthy or remarkable in any way?
I mean, it wasn't like it was a bad match. So let me just make that perfectly clear. It wasn't like I turned it off and was like, oh, well, that was fucking dog shit. No, by no means. 2, I think, as weird as it sounds, because we just went on a 38-minute fucking rant on how this guy sucks dog dick, he's not a bad pro wrestler in the sense of it's not like he fucks up shit a lot. There's some shit.
The bell-to-bell stuff is fine, isn't it? For the most part.
Yep. Nothing spectacular. Nothing where you're, again, jumping out of your seat and you know, you're thinking you saw the next coming of fucking Hiroshi Tanahashi. But, again, nothing that where you're just like, how is this guy even in a ring? That's not it. I will say this. If he found a way to untap some type of charisma, we might have something. I just don't know if we've seen it. And that was the one thing that I kept harping on. All right, let's put it this way. I'm trying to find the right words, but the best thing I can do is this. During this match, you could, and once again, let me be very clear. We're talking about a guy who has probably 15 years experience, maybe even more in Shingo, and a guy who has 5, 6. You could tell who the pro wrestler was. You know, you could tell the guy who was a pro wrestler, and then the guy who was cosplaying a pro wrestler.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and that's actually something that Rich from Voices of Wrestling has been saying about Shota for a while, that he's playing pro wrestler and you can see it in his eyes, like he's not got that dog in him. And I pushed back on that initially because I'd seen signs that I thought, no, let's give him a chance and let's see what he can do with a range of opponents and sort of good long-term storytelling and big spots. But yeah, I've got to hand it to the haters here. Good call by the haters. They're correct.
Yeah, I mean, that's really it. And does that come with experience? Does that come with time in front of a crowd? Maybe, probably. Sure. Okay, I'll give it to you. But we can also name a lot of pro wrestlers where you see it the minute they step through the fucking curtain.
Yeah, they have that charisma and that confidence. He's got no confidence. I think you've got to have some kind of facet of your personality that you can lean into and dial up to 11. And you have to believe when you step out behind that curtain that you are living and breathing this shit. You are pro wrestling.
Right.
And he's just not it.
Right. And if you don't have that, how do you project that to a crowd that like eats that up like it's ice cream? You know, that wants that needs that. Like that's to me, that's pro
yeah, they
wrestling.
Can smell it. They can smell that he doesn't believe in it. And if he doesn't believe in himself, why should the crowd?
1,000%, Joe. And to me, Joe, what do I always say when it comes to the young lions? I don't give a fuck about hip tosses. I don't give a fuck about drop kicks. I don't give a fuck about Boston crabs. Show me what you can do to connect with a crowd. Show me what you can do to connect with a crowd. And again, these are black tights and crew cuts, right? That we're talking connect with the crowd. This guy.
Look at someone like Daiki Nagai, who's been wrestling for a grand total of like 45 minutes in terms of sort of televised New Japan programming, and he's out there saying, go backstage saying, "I'm going to kick the shit out of everyone. I'm the man. You guys are all scumbags." Like that, and I'm like, hell yeah, I want to believe that because he believes it.
Yep. And even if he's dead wrong, at least he's deranged, but okay, he believes it. So it comes across as genuine. Once again, I've said it 1,000 times. The things that people connect with, and it goes from guys like fucking Misawa to Aja Kong to I'm just rattling off great pro wrestlers, but the common thread is that genuineness. Eddie Kingston. Why do you think Eddie Kingston people just gravitated to? Because he's genuine. He's authentic. He might not be the greatest pro wrestler in the world. He might rely on his fucking 1990s All Japan tapes that he got from Jeff Lynch. That's fine. It's genuine though. Like it's from it's a part of him. And I hate to say it, and I hate to be like stereotypical when it comes to Japanese crowds, but that I feel like that goes a little bit. That goes a little bit. Maybe even more so there than in the West. So, look, we'll see what happens, man. Maybe we're 44 minutes into a fucking rant that, at the end of the day, it works out. And 3 years from now, we're like,
I would love that. I would love to be wrong. I would love to come on the next podcast and be like, wow, he certainly showed us. But I was speaking for weeks in the run-up to Wrestle Kingdom, seeing these signs and squinting to see it and thinking, yeah, you know what? I think this Wrestle Kingdom main event could be great. And I think everyone's doubting Shota. I think he's going to prove them wrong. And I ended up with egg on my face. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah. You got to show me this time, my man. You got to show me right now. I'm going into it with, all right, show me what you got. Show me what you have, or God, whatever it is. The line is from the fucking potato. All right.
Let me change direction here.
Yes.
Shingo Takagi, who is his dance partner for this semi-final match, is he done as a tippy top guy who can deliver match of the year caliber performances?
No. But I think okay, well, if he's in there with the right people. So whereas before it didn't matter. Like I said, the joke, I could put you in there, Joel. I could put in my fucking Xbox and it'd be a great match. Now he might need someone to do a little bit more of the heavier lifting. But I still think he has it in him. I just don't know if he has the wherewithal right now. And again, he has a lot of fucking miles on that body. Let's be very clear. I don't know if he has the wherewithal to be able to do that and it be just like a slam dunk no matter who's in the ring.
Let's talk about the other semi-final, which was in Shizuoka. It was David Finlay defeating Zack Sabre Jr. 20 minutes and 12 seconds.
Go ahead. I'm going to give you the floor. Go ahead.
So I threw out my spicy take. I was expecting some level of pushback from him, but I've not received any, actually. That I think Zack and Finlay might be... No, I think they are the two best heavyweight workers, or bell-to-bell, in New Japan right now.
Mm-hmm.
If I was making a top 5, they would probably be number 1 and number 2. So let's explore that first. What do you think of that?
I think both are... Look, I think everybody knows how we feel about Zack. I think he's probably my favorite, and he's been that way for a long time. I think he's creative. I think his style I love. He is top of the list for me. David Finlay has taken time to grow on me, but he's had a great year and continues to have a great year this year. Who would be in ring better? Like, who would be maybe? I mean, are we counting juniors?
No, I say heavyweights.
Okay. Heavyweights. All right, that's fair. Definitely Great O'Khan. Kidding, of course. It's weird to say because it's like in a promotion that had just cup runneth over with unbelievable heavyweight talent. You're probably right. Who am I missing?
I think there's potential
Goto
with guys like Gabe and to some extent Tsuji, although I think he's a little bit behind that. Goto definitely is up there. For me, Taichi would probably crack my top 5. So yeah, that would be my top 5 probably. It would be Zack Finlay, Gabe, Goto, and Taichi.
Are you?
But my point.
Are you considering like, I don't want to say part-time guys, but like Takeshita or
right? No, if Takeshita is in the conversation, then he's instantly number 1.
Okay.
But in terms of like the full-time regulars, it's these two for me, and that was my sense going into this, and I think they proved that because this was 20 minutes. No fucking about, no sort of wasted feeling each other out, no sort of pointless limb work that didn't go anywhere. This was just brilliant.
Yeah.
Smart. They're sort of trying to do the grappling and just really nice sort of intricate sequences. And David Finlay, I don't think gets enough credit for his grappling because it's not something he does much. He's sort of leaning into the power moves. So they did a bit of that, and then Zack gets the advantage and he's able to out-wrestle Finlay. So Finlay digs into the well of doing all the power stuff, going after Zack's ribs. I thought Zack's selling of the ribs was really good, and he's just sort of out-muscling him and roughhousing him, tossing him around the ring. And the closing, I would say like 10 minutes, was just incredible stuff. Like the intricacy and the sort of the technical brilliance of some of those sequences.
Yeah.
To do that, but not come across as choreographed. They totally avoided the finisher reversal dance thing, which a lot of people have accused certain New Japan wrestlers of. There was none of that. It genuinely felt like a struggle. Like David Finlay, when he does this sort of stuff, there's kind of sort of like a flailing, desperate quality to when he's doing this stuff that makes it look like a fight. There's that sense of struggle throughout. It doesn't look cooperative. Like, and again, this is going to sound absolutely outrageous and people and in bad faith, but I mean it. And I love Will Ospreay matches, and I think he is probably the best wrestler in the world, or certainly one of the best. But sometimes those sequences with him, they're just a little bit too smooth.
Yeah.
There's not quite enough friction there. It's just like a gymnast executing a perfect, flawless routine. And it just looks a little bit too choreographed. Whereas this, it just looked like two guys. It looked like the kind of scrambles that you'd see in an MMA match. Just guys sort of jockeying for position and, last minute dodges and counters to get the upper hand. And particularly that sort of final minute, the sequence sort of back and forth with that little sort of crocodile roll that Finlay does going into the overkill. It was just brilliant. It was so good. And it had there's sort of rough edges that you want to see in a professional wrestling match. And there was a great bit as well just prior to that where there was a near fall where I think it was, Zack got a clutch pin or something. And I was worried that they were going to do an accidental 3 count there because he had his shoulders pinned right to the match and he just managed to power out of that. But I was so impressed with the work from these two guys, and I don't think it's going to get the flowers they deserve. Finlay's never going to get the flowers he deserves. Fucking FSM refusing to put him in the top 50 wrestlers. Come on, get serious, guys. But this was such a contrast to the other semi-final, and just brilliant stuff. I love this.
Me too. And even though we're in the confines of a pro wrestling match, there was still like just like you described, where if you watch enough, especially modern pro wrestling, you might be able to telegraph, oh, well, here's going to be the this and that and kick out, and I'm going to hit this giant lariat clothesline and the spin bump, and it's just kind of things where it's just like, okay, we're to make that stretch entertaining, we're going to kind of go over the top. And again, it kind of falls back on, there's a fine line between dramatic, powerful, intense finishing sequences in pro wrestling, and AEW spam button. And never did I feel like we were even remotely in that territory, but things felt so genuine and unique that, and again, not like groundbreaking, but just enough differences and I don't want to say subtlety because it makes it sound like we see things that other people don't. But to me,
look, the shoe fits, Damon.
But subtleties that kept you on guard, and it kept you like you couldn't kind of predict the match and the spots and here we go, we're setting up like that. I never did I find myself or catch myself in that spot, in that predicament, if you will. Like I always felt a little, and again, not crazy, I'm jumping out of my seat in by this crazy reversal power move that I never would have expected, but just like constantly building in real dramatic yet subtle ways. And I after that match was done, I really appreciated what we had and what we have, and hopefully what we keep, because it's pretty amazing how David Finlay has grown as a pro wrestler in a year, maybe a year and a handful of months. Like there is just an absolute noticeable difference. I promise you, go back 2 years and watch a David Finlay match, and then watch that match that you just saw. Come on, like we're watching a pro wrestler blossom and bloom right before our eyes, and it's amazing. It's taken a while, right? Because here's the thing too, and not necessarily the same critiques, but here's another guy that we could have easily written off many times. Easily written off David Finlay many times. The whole, dad talking about the training center and Steven Regal and all the shit. And everybody was like, well, fuck it, I'll drive him to the fucking airport. I don't think those same people would be saying the same thing if they're being truly honest. Yes, there are always going to be the comparisons to him and AJ and fucking Kenny and whatever. That's natural, and I get it. But man, and here's what I really truly feel: I don't think people. You don't know what you got till it's gone.
And can I also chime in? Comparison is the thief of joy.
The thief of joy. The thief of joy.
Don't waste your time. Don't spoil your enjoyment of David Finlay by trying to compare him to AJ Styles or Kenny Omega or Jay White.
Yeah, I would agree. But here's the thing: I'm not gonna knock someone to do that, because you do that with every sport, right? Who was better, the fucking team of the 2000th or the team that we have now? People do that all the time. It's bar talk. You know what I mean? It's back in my day, they a basketball player would never sit out 34 games. Okay, well, we're different times. So that always happens. But I agree with you, because especially in his case, more than anyone, I don't think people realize what they have in front of them. That's the challenge. That's the problem. But yeah, this was great. Was this your favorite match of the tournament?
Oh, by far.
Yep.
I was going to ask you. He won clean as a sheet. No hint of any kind of cheating, rule breaking, nothing.
Zack Sabre's head.
What'd you make of that? Do you think there's any significance in that?
Zack shaves his head, and he goes and changes. It's amazing what that'll do. I think so. I mean, the guy was the world champion, 2-3 months ago. Not that long.
Are we maybe seeing like a shifting of Finlay and the War Dogs as a whole further along the continuum, away from the heel end, more towards the face end?
Oh yeah,
tweener. Can we? No, he's not that far. I can't call David Finlay a tweener at this point. But again, that was notable to me that he won that match clean.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, maybe more heels should be doing that. More heels should be winning matches clean. You could be a heel. You could be a knob and still win wrestling matches without cheating.
1,000%. 1,000%. But I also believe that the cleanliness of said win is also drawing a line between him and his faction and House of Torture. You know, I think they're just kind of doing. You know, we're definitely drawing a line in the sand here of who you need to root for in this, and that, quite frankly, all right. Being that we're here, I'm disappointed that that's going to be David Finlay's early summer.
Could you elaborate on that?
Fucking
please?
Around with House of Torture.
Right, yes, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Well, okay. Let me throw this out. A couple of questions. Burning Hammer says, if Finlay wins the cup, should he be defeated by Goto at Sakura Genesis to end the story between the two after their match last year? Or is Finlay the one to end the Goto Dream run? And Dean's a similar question for me. I'm really enjoying the run and would love to see it go well into the summer. He's getting great reactions. Realistically, how long do you go with him? So I think that second question was more about how long Goto stays as champion. But the first question I think is worth exploring because Finlay was my early pick to win the New Japan Cup. When was I saying that? It feels like kind of in the summer I was saying that about Finlay. So there's a significant chance. I don't know. Like, honestly, I find the final really hard to call. Like, I can see the merits in them. Well, no, not the merits. I could see them going with either Finlay or Shota. And with everything Finlay's done and him sort of losing that global heavyweight championship and that being a potential for him to lose upwards and all the great work he's done, I think he would be really good as a world champion. But so let's hypothetically say he did beat Shota and faces Goto. I kind of feel more in terms of the story, like I feel they've sort of exhausted that in terms of the G1 match where Goto got the big triumphant win, and then the match, whatever it was at, Destruction King of Pro Wrestling, I can't remember which event it was, where Finlay was antagonising Goto's children and making them cry. I can feel they've done that now, and going back to that would be a bit repetitive. I feel like they need to do something a bit different, and I would be tempted to keep the championship on Goto because he's doing good numbers at the moment. I'd keep it all the way to Dominion. I reckon with Goto as champion for the Dominion main event, you could pop a pretty impressive gate with that. But all the same, I think Finlay winning the cup, and then if he loses to Goto, then that's not very good for Finlay. I feel that might be damaging for him.
Well, here's what you got. One, if Finlay wins cup, challenges Goto, I feel like Finlay would win a title. I really do. I don't think anyone is in the camp of let's see what Goto can do for as long as he can do it. I feel like there is a definite line in the sand of, okay, this is your shelf life and this is where it ends. I don't think that they're the type of company that books on feel as opposed to, nope, here's where this guy wins, here's where this guy loses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and this takes us to the end of the year, blah, 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 blah. So if Finlay wins, I truly believe Finlay wins the title. The problem is that I don't think Finlay wins because I think Finlay will be involved with, again, more Civil War stuff. And Shota wins. Now, then the question becomes, does Shota then win said title over Goto? Because I really think Goto's losing to whoever wins this cup.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's... look, I'm going to tell you the truth. What do I think? I think they're going to give it to Shota. I really do. Would I give it to David Finlay? Absolutely, 110%. I would. I think that would be a really good direction. Whoever wins this cup is winning the title. And to me, they have done more work and more investment, as strange as that sounds, to Shota than to David Finlay. And the work that they've done with David Finlay has been faction feud as opposed to take the title feud. And we all know Shota is redemption, and he's a made guy. What do you think of
Have
that?
a word on Zack here. Mikey says, does Zack fall into the category of wrestler who is better chasing the top belt than holding it? If Finlay match better than anything during the title run personally. And Eric says, will ZSJ's run be remembered as a wonderful fever dream, or do you see him cemented as a top guy now with another stint or two with a big boy belt in years to come?
I mean, I think he's the same level that you would kind of talk about Goto, and you would talk about Sonata, and you would talk about well, in the sense of, okay, these are guys that are constantly in the mix, and they've held the big boy belt, and depending upon your point of view of how successful any of them have been, but I think he's in that type of category of former world champion Zack. You can't. So yeah, I mean, I think just by default he's in the mix. Absolutely. Is he going to go down as one of the greatest champions of all time and people clamoring for the to carry the company? No, because I truly believe he, and in hindsight, he might be a guy that's better at the chase. And you know who else is better at the chase? Naito. He's better at the chase. So, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's quite honestly a pretty good thing. That being said, he's still one of the greatest wrestlers of my lifetime that I think. And not everyone has to be the needle mover to be important, if that makes any sense. And, the numbers maybe weren't there for Zack, but I don't think anybody's going to take away that G1 or him winning the title and everything in between of being like really a fucking highlight. I mean, that was him in the crowd at Sumo Hall with the fans. That was a pretty great moment. And I think a lot of people wanted that and were rooting for that to happen. So the fact that they did that, I think it's going to go down as a positive as opposed to any negative to, he didn't like achieve the attendance figures or the numbers or whatever. I liked his run, but it's not going to go down as one of the greatest, that's for sure.
There was an IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match on the 15th in Aichi, where Hiroki Goto defeated Yuji Nagata in 17 minutes 38 seconds via GTR. Really good build-up to this. I liked the sort of pre-story video package that they made with Yuji Nagata talking about his son and what his son said to him, and he got very emotional at that. So I thought they did a tremendous job putting some emotional weight and significance into something that was essentially just a filler defense. And I just love that every year you get that one Yuji Nagata singles match where it's just like, he still kicks ass. Not that you want him back as a full-time wrestler, but just that annual celebration of how awesome he is. And he was really good here. Like, arguably, dare I say, better than Tanahashi at the moment physically.
Wow.
I really enjoyed this match a lot. I thought it was great.
Yeah, me too. And I think it was a lot of it was scratching the nostalgia itch for me anyway. It is amazing. And again, it's a physical air quote sport. And the toll that it takes on a body and all that. But it is a magical thing in that you could still get up in age and be mid-50s, and pushing the other side of your 50s and still have the wherewithal and the capabilities. Again, maybe not the titanic physical struggles that you may have had in the early 2000s, but still be able to. It's just a wonderful art form, in the sense that if you're smart enough and you know how to work, you could have a great match, even at the ripe old age that Yuji Nagata is, and even the ripe old age that Hiroki Goto is, to be honest with you. And I think that says something a lot about New Japan, and I think that says a lot about those two as pro wrestlers. Look, would I have wanted this match to be like 30 minutes? No, no. I think the time was right, and even then, it was like, okay, we probably should be taking it home relatively soon. What pros? That's the one thing that I got out of that was you have. I know the dojo system is arguably the best pro wrestling system, and people can argue that to the cows come home. But I'll die on that hill and say it is the best producer of pro wrestling talent is New Japan's system. What great hands! Now you would know as well as anyone, Joel, that being good at something doesn't necessarily mean that you are a good teacher or that you're able to convey your knowledge to someone else. I don't know. I just feel like we're in such good hands having people like Yuji Nagata still in the mix, still around. And I do think it's important. Like these type of matches, more than the nostalgia scratch, it's hey boys, watch. I'm gonna show you what I've been trying to tell you for 2 years in this 15-minute match. And I think that's important because there is a lot of, the old saying, well, those who can't do teach, right? Well, this kind of, I would think, helped hammer home not only the fact that, okay, let's have a really good pro wrestling match and let's defend the title and let's, tug at the heartstrings a little bit and tell a good story about the kids and the family and friends and the meaningfulness of a championship title match and all of that. But also, let's use this as a little bit of a learning tool, a teaching tool for the people that are washing my fucking feet. You know what I mean? I felt that. I felt that importance of, like a chef that, maybe doesn't cook every fucking meal, but when he steps in front of the open flame and he produces this wonderful dish, and the other chefs are like, oh, okay, yep, that's how it's done. That's the kind of feeling I got. So, yes, the fact that we have that system, and even for a guy who can barely fucking walk, like Tenzan, or a guy like Kojima, or even to a smaller degree, a guy like Liger, and just guys that are still around in that role to be able to carry the knowledge and pass it down. I think that is so important. And yeah, they still got it. I hate to be the guy who will chant in a crowd, but they still got it. Clap, clap, clappity, clap.
We also had a quarterfinal match with Zack defeating Taichi, 26 minutes, 27 seconds with the European clutch. Yeah, really, really good. And we've been waiting years and years and years for this, and I think they missed the moment where this could have really been something special. But obviously it still meant a lot to Taichi. You saw him getting all tearful before the match had even started. And it felt like they thought it was probably the only chance they were going to have to wrestle each other. So they tried to just get everything in there. Maybe a bit too much, dare I say. I think they might have missed the sweet spot where they could have taken it home and we'd be like, wow, that was incredible. But it just kind of went on a bit longer and a bit longer and a bit longer because they wanted to, get all their moves in and tell everything that they could between each other. Because I feel like maybe they've wanted this match sooner and have been denied it for whatever reason. That's how it felt to me. It felt like this was they thought it was going to be their only chance to wrestle each other, and they wanted to just get it as much as they could.
Yeah, same bag. Yep, I'm totally with you. It's and a lot of times, I might eye roll a little bit and be like, "All right, guys, we get it." You guys. But I don't know. Maybe it's just I have a soft spot for both of them at this point. And the fact that it was quite obvious that these are two pals that are, finally getting the chance to do what they probably, like you said, have wanted to do for a long time. And pro wrestling's weird. You don't always get the opportunities, and one guy's doing one thing, the other guy's doing another thing, and the next thing you know, you're ripping off another page in the calendar and rinse and repeat. So the fact that they did everything they could in that match, yeah. I mean, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. And I don't know, kind of tugged at my heartstrings a little. You know what I mean? Like I felt it. Like I was like, good for those dudes. Good for those dudes. Two guys that obviously care for each other and get along and enjoy. They make their time away from loved ones and family to a certain degree a little bit better. And they were able to kind of showcase it, and who knows what other opportunities they might have in the future. That might be it. And they left it all out there. I'm not faulting them for that. But, I mean, I'm acknowledging it, but I'm not faulting them for it.
We had David Finlay beating Yuya Uemura at 15 minutes and 1 second with Overkill. How did you feel Yuya acquitted himself in this tournament?
I think Yuya is one of. I would have liked this. I wish I could get my thoughts out and my mouth working at the same time. Like my lips and my teeth are fighting each other. I would have liked to have seen Yuya be in the spot that Shota is in. I feel like he has all those little things that Shota doesn't. And I think he's really, really, like, beyond his years, smart pro wrestler. I really do.
Yeah, really good instincts, I think. He's got the instincts that Shota lacks.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And, again, a little bit of charisma. Probably more than a little bit. He's got a great look. Yeah. Like, that's a guy I would like to hitch my wagon to. Now, that being said, I don't know if this was a fabulous match. I thought it was. I would put it in. Nothing that they did necessarily was stuff that where I would say, like, okay, we gotta elevate this match on our rankings of the best matches of this tournament. It's comfortably somewhere in the middle. But trust me, I'm more excited, to see what the future holds for you than Shota, that's for sure. And we'll see. I don't know if the company is necessarily ready, but I feel like he is. And if he had half the opportunities that others have had, I think everyone would be really happy with the end results. But here's the problem, though. Like, what are we doing with him? It's like, it feels like he's one of those people that I don't know if there's like a clear-cut direction. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there was the Tanahashi thing with him inviting them to join Hontai, which doesn't exactly scream that they have a red-hot program ready to elevate him to the next level. And it's just guys like them not really having anything meaningful for him right now makes it difficult to swallow the Shota push when you're like, look, there's guys who are better than him right here, and you're not really using them. Come on.
That's anyway, all I'm saying.
We also had Shota Umino defeating Jeff Cobb, 10 minutes 25 seconds, second chapter. I thought actually Cobb did a better job showcasing whatever this new Shota thing is supposed to be than Shingo did. I thought this is kind of like a powerhouse sprint worked better to kind of convey.
Who was that? Was that Molly?
It's Manny, yeah. She's obviously not enjoying the Shota discussion.
No, definitely not.
And of course, there's all the other stuff to go along with Cobb, with the rumours circulating that he's already part of the WWE internal roster, but then he's also got booking coming up for the Strong Show in the States. Honestly, I'm ambivalent on this. Like, I like Jeff Cobb. I'm not that bothered if he leaves. I'm not that bothered if he stays. Like, life will go on. This is a guy he's had his run in New Japan, and if he left, I would wish him well and hope he does good stuff in WWE, having enjoyed his time in New Japan. Roster turnover is good, right? It's good when people move on. It frees up spots for other people. I think that would be absolutely fine.
Yeah, I mean, if we count his time between Ring of Honor and New Japan full time, and all the other iterations of Jeff Cobb in New Japan, he's been here a while. He's been there a long time, decent amount of time. So yeah, I mean, look, I think for everyone's sake, and I'm not saying this as fuck Jeff Cobb by any stretch of imagination, because I think he's really, really good. But I think we all could use a break, and if that means him doing a little WWE dance, he hasn't been there, and I losing Jeff Cobb to WWE, that doesn't bother me at all. And as a matter of fact, I think it might be a good thing for everyone. And he gets a taste of the WWE life. And I think that's a lot of people's, checkbox kind of thing. Yeah, I got no problem with it. Let him enjoy a little. I'm trying to think of somebody. I couldn't think of anybody. I was going to say Billy Gunn, but Billy Gunn's probably spent more time in New Japan than he has anywhere. Let him have some fun. Let him have some fun with his friends.
We also had Shingo Takagi defeating Drilla Maloney, 11 minutes, 8 seconds, Burning Dragon. How do you feel Drilla did in this tournament?
Work in progress. How about that? Work in progress. And once again, I'll sit here and say that on the surface, as of right now, he feels like he is tailor-made for Orlando, Florida. Like he is. Do they still run shows in Orlando, Florida? NXT I'm talking about. Are they there? Where are they at? I don't know. Where's the Performance Center? Is it Orlando? I think it is. Anyway.
Let me look it up. NXT Performance Center. Yeah. Yes, it is in Orlando, Florida.
There you go.
Yeah.
Full Sail. Yeah. Nobody. He's a shorter version of. Oh my God! Now I'm having another brain fart. Who's our boy or DJ?
Eddie Thorpe.
Is that his name there?
Carl Fredericks.
Carl Fredericks. Yeah, he's a smaller version of Carl. Remember us fucking pulling down our pants and fucking bonering it over him?
Wow. He was really good. He was very promising young man.
He really was. And he won that little mini tournament.
He couldn't keep it. Yeah.
What are you going to do? Listen, he's DJing it now. Did anybody? I'm scratching, but nobody really scratches anymore, do they? That's the thing of the past.
You never hear people beatboxing these days, do you?
No, I missed the beep. Now it's like. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, Jesus Christ, we get it. Drop dead. All right, very good. What else we got?
I don't know. Is there anything you want to say? I don't think we did Cobb versus Naito, Shingo versus Bolton, or TJP versus Drilla. I can't be bothered. Like, what do you want us to say? I can barely remember what happened in those matches.
Look, they got us from point A to point B, right? What else? What do you want from us?
What do you want from us?
What do you want from us?
Do you want a good shot?
Yeah. Yeah. What do we got on the horizon? What do we got to look forward to when it comes to, besides the New Japan Cup Finals, which will probably happen before anyone listens to this, aside from our $10 tier, who have the opportunity to listen live, and also we kind of, takes a while for Dan to edit a show, so you get to have the benefits of going back and listening, right? You get to listen.
And not only that, you get to listen to me and John Carroll talking about
that's right,
Bob Sasaki's, what was the name of the show? Refereeing Life
Crazy
25th Anniversary Nutter Deathmatch Show, which Crazy Fest, that's what it's called, which is just the most insane main event that I've seen for years between Despy and Jun Kasai and Takeda. So get your fucking wallet out, watch that show, and then listen to me and John Carroll talking about it, because it was a hell of a ride.
Yeah, you sent me screenshots. I was like, holy fuck, guys.
You should watch it. I know you have zero time to do anything, but try and carve out a bit of time. I've linked you to it. It's on my completely legal means of watching this. But check it out, because it's nuts. It's absolutely wild.
All right,
and there's some other good stuff on that show as well. Go on.
I will watch. I will carve out some time. Today's Tuesday, right? I got tomorrow. Probably Friday night's going to be bad too. Saturday. I'll how this match will be fucking 2 months old by the time I watch it, but I'm gonna commit. I'm putting it literally in my calendar. It's in my calendar right now as watch the Despy match. Watch the Despy match. And that'll occur on Saturday at 9:00 a.m. because my wife will be taking care of the plants. So that'll give me time. There you go. See, it's in my calendar. Now, that's how you organize yourself, right? That's how you plan. That's how you map out time, just in case you need to know.
Excellent stuff. So there's that. So the finals will be on Thursday. I will be away on residential at that time, so I'm not going to be able to do anything that far. Maybe when I get home on Friday, I might put a bit of bonus audio up for the $10 tier. I do have plans to do an instant reaction show with John, who will be there live. So
wow!
Will be in attendance at Sakura Genesis, and he would like to talk about it. That will be a wrestling omakase show, but I'll see if I can convince John to let me live stream that for our $10 patrons. I won't put it up on the Jcast feed, but I'll see if I can persuade them to let me try and squeeze a bit of money out of it.
Right. You know what? I would say this. Let's promote it. Right? We'll promote it. And if there's signups, post, while we're doing it, give him a cut of the money.
Yeah.
That seems fair.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Or he could pay us for the privilege of Imagine that. Imagine us charging. Be like, listen, Robbie Eagles, we're going to charge you about $50 for this one. You'd be like, go fuck yourself, mate.
All right. The exposure.
Yeah, just think of all the exposure. Probably hurts their career more than anything else. You were on that fucking show. We're jobbing you out this entire tour. You're losing to everybody. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Association to Super J-Cast has killed numerous New Japan careers.
You have no idea. All right. Well, where are we? Are we done? We good?
We're done. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Hello, do you like New Japan Pro Wrestling? Are you a Shin Nihon freak? If so, check out the Super J-Cast with Joel and Damon on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
And even if you fucking hate New Japan Pro Wrestling, listen to the Super J-Cast anyway. Not just for our great show reviews, analysis, and pastrami sandwiches, but there's also usually some dick jokes somewhere in the obligatory opening 30 minutes of absolute nonsense we chat about every single week. That's the Super J-Cast for all the best talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, crisps, and pornography.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.